Good morning, I'm Neva Manu, and this is your morning news fix for Wednesday, 6th of March. In this update, security implications if the Prime Minister was to travel commercially more often. The Air Force's Boeing 757 was unable to take off yesterday due to a technical fault with the nose landing gear. It meant Christopher Luxon had to fly commercially to Melbourne for ASEAN talks, missing a couple of meetings due to the delay. It's the latest in a series of instances where the old planes have disrupted diplomatic travel plans. But Otago University Professor of International Relations, Robert Patman, says commercial travel isn't such a straightforward solution.
It's very difficult to safeguard the security of a Prime Minister while travelling on a commercial airline. So therefore, it does make sense to have a dedicated plane of some sort at the disposal of the Prime Minister.
And after a somewhat rocky start to his whirlwind trip to Australia, Christopher Luxon will be hoping his second day on the ground in Melbourne will yield more success than the first. The Prime Minister is addressing business audiences across the Tasman this morning, speaking about the challenges the New Zealand economy is facing at an ANZ business breakfast. He's then off to a Fonterra factory to visit the operations ahead of a media stand-up to round off the trip. But the breakdown of the Defence Force plane before its takeoff yesterday means there may be no media for him to speak to, as they were all left stranded in Wellington. A fresh push for Kiwi healthcare workers and early childhood teachers to head to Australia. Azaria Hell has the story.
Queensland Health's targeting medical staff in New Zealand, Canada and the UK.
Moving to Queensland was the best decision of my life.
With hundreds of jobs available, make a healthy career move to Queensland, Australia.
Queensland Health's promising relocation support, competitive salaries and leave. Health New Zealand says there's a global shortage of health workers.
The Resources Minister says he's taking advantage of the country's natural bounty as the government reinstates oil and gas exploration. Greymouth Gas Turangi is being granted a 10-year permit to explore for petroleum in a 62 square kilometre area around Stratford in Taranaki. Young people not contributing to KiwiSaver could miss out on more than $300,000 by retirement. Fund advisor National Capital reveals across all eligible age groups, New Zealanders could be losing out on a combined $113 billion. Contribution rates have dropped well below the optimal 6.3% needed for retirement to 4.27%. Director Clive Fernandez says this reflects the current economic climate.
Right now it could come down to inflation, cost of living crisis, and Kiwis being forced to prioritise their short-term interests over the long term.
Last month was dry for many regions. NEWA's climate summary for February shows temperatures were near average in many areas, with below normal or well below normal rainfall in most parts of the country. Of the 6 main centres, Auckland was the warmest, Christchurch the driest. In sport, former Black Caps captain Ross Taylor believes Neil Wagner was forced into cricketing retirement ahead of the series against Australia. New Zealand rugby referee Brendan Pickerel has announced his retirement from officiating. Former tennis world number 1 Simona Halep's 4-year ban for doping has been slashed to 9 months by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And Auckland men's cricket coach Doug Watson has been appointed as the Scotland head coach. He will join Scotland in April following the completion of his Auckland campaign. I'm Neva Manu. That's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at midday from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.